My debate will start in 3, 2, 1. So basically, the first argument of the affirmative team is that government have the power to control people's life. Therefore, we need a good, experienced government. A political candidate that had passed the political competency test. I agree with the term we need an experienced government, but the political competency, the test, doesn't really promise us an experienced government. Some tests can easily be based and abused. We need to know who created the test and who decided the standard. These people can easily bribe in order to pass the test. Therefore, the test is not always represents people's capability. Competences and experiences not always gained by passing a test, and some of the best leaders are not experts in political theory. Instead, they listen to their people's voice, they take critics from others, they understand local problems, etc. The second argument of the affirmative team is that the government is so unstable that people stop voting, and a competency test will restore their trust. Yes, we agree that lesser vote participation and political instability are problems. However, a competency test is not the solution. The government gaining trust from people aren't based by the test score, but based by the result of what they did, the result of solved social problems. Besides that, if we introduce a test for political candidate to people, they will feel like the system is controlled by qualified elites. Therefore, we should make the politics more open, more transparent instead. Moving to our next topic, this motion proposed that all individuals know who wants to run for public office, such as president, governor, etc., must pass a political competency test. This test will assess their knowledge about politics, law, or even public policy. If a person failed the test, they automatically can't be a candidate. The idea of requiring political candidates to pass a political competency test comes from the people's concern about the quality of leadership. People often feel disappointed by the lack of experienced leader. In other cases, government and politicians have a poor understanding of economics, law, and public policy. Therefore, they think adding a political competency test is necessary. However, this will be considered as failing the value of democracy. Leadership is not only about technical knowledge, it's about representation, empathy, and the ability to understand people's needs. All people should have a chance to be a candidate, whether they don't come from elite academics or political backgrounds. By performing a test, we are excluding the rural communities or minority groups who may not perform well on a test, but deeply understand the people's needs. There are several effects if we keep political competency tests running. Firstly, it limits democratic participation. By adding this test, we took the right of peoples to vote the leaders who can represent them. They are being forced to vote the candidates that can pass the academic test but fail to see what people really need. As I say, the test doesn't guarantee better leaders. The political competency test only tests the candidate about the technical knowledge. It can test qualities like empathy, vision, integrity, and the ability to understand the people. By keep running the test, there will be risk of political manipulation and corruption. The test can easily be controlled by the elites, and the people, the citizens, they don't know by who this test is made, and because of that, many candidates choose to bribe in order to pass the test, resulting in big corruption. For example, in India, a famous leader named Narendra Modi came from a very poor background. He can access education in his childhood, and if he had been judged by education or test, he might not have reached office. Another example is in Indonesia. Many respected local leaders, like village heads or mayors, come from humble beginnings. They may not be a textbook smart, but they create real change in their communities. As a conclusion, I firmly do not support this motion that proposes the political candidates must pass the political competency test. While the goal of improving political quality is understandable, this method is harmful. The political test limits freedoms, encourages discrimination, and enhancing the risk of corruption. The better solution is not to restrict who can lead, but to empower voters through better education, open public debates, and media transparency. Thank you.